Alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. Now, I see comments every now and again on my YouTube channel or my Instagram, people asking me if I've given up or plan to give up my British passport. And that's what I'm going to be answering in today's video. TLDR, in short, no, I'm not. But stick around and I'll be discussing my thought process, inshallah. First things first, let's have some context. Myself, I was born in the UK. My father was also born in the UK. My grandfather moved to the UK in the 1960s. So I'm a third generation British Pakistani. I grew up there my whole life, and at the start of 2023, I left for good with my family, alhamdulillah. I moved here to the UAE for now. And now I'm on a mission to help as many Muslims living in the West as possible to do the same and move to a Muslim country, whichever Muslim country that might be. So naturally, I make content that often is quite critical of the UK, of the US, of other Western countries. For example, talking about the lack of safety and security, rising Islamophobia, rising immorality, rising disgusting liberal values and agendas, so on and so forth. You get the point. And every now and again, you know how it is, these videos will rub a person up the wrong way. And I'll see a comment like, oh, I bet he hasn't given up his British passport. Oh, he's claiming to have left, he's done hijrah, but he's still got his British passport. When are you going to give up your British passport? Etc., etc. So look, me, I'm a very logic and rationale-based guy. Everything for me is based on pros and cons. I'm not the best when it comes to reading emotions and all of that kind of stuff. But put me in front of some data, some spreadsheets, numbers, that's me. I thrive there. So with that said, let's look at the pros and the cons of keeping versus giving up the British passport. So in terms of pros, I mean, the biggest one is the fact that you're able to travel to many Muslim countries and live there. With the permission of Allah, of course. As a result of having this. For example, in Saudi Arabia, British citizens are eligible for an e-visa waiver, which allows you to live in Saudi Arabia for 6 months at a time without needing a visa. I know brothers personally that have actually left the UK. They're living in Medina right now off the back of this e-visa waiver. They've done hijrah as a result of it. That's a massive benefit. You can also travel to many Muslim countries as a tourist and so on and so forth. And of course, that helps with stuff like business meetings and investors, etc., so on and so forth. Now, let's talk about the cons. And I'm completely honest, I couldn't think of a single one. I really did try. Maybe some of you might be to comment in the comment below and let me know of some cons. But I genuinely couldn't think of any. Like, it's not like America, where if you're an American citizen, even if you live abroad, you still have to pay the IRS, your taxes. You still have to pay taxes to the US government, even if you earn your income abroad. Myself, I left the UK 2023. I haven't paid a penny in UK taxes, alhamdulillah. There's literally nothing that I can think of that's a con of me keeping the passport. So why would I give it up? Now, one thing that is important to mention for those of you that are also considering moving abroad that are from the UK is that as far as I'm aware, British citizenship is passed down one generation for people that are born outside of the UK. It doesn't pass down to the second generation. For example, if I was to have a child that was born outside of the UK, they would be eligible for British citizenship. But their children, my grandchildren, would not. Now, to be completely transparent, I've only done very surface level research on this. It's on my list of things to dive deep into and prepare for accordingly, inshallah, in the near future. But right now, I've only looked into it surface level, so I don't know the ins and outs. So look into it properly yourself, do your research, ask ChatGPT, Google, look at the government website. That's why I based my findings off of. But eventually, my lineage will stop being British. And that's something that I personally am okay with. I don't plan to ever return to the UK, inshallah. I made my intention for hijrah. I will be living in the lands of the Muslims forever. Which land the Muslim? I don't know. That's why earlier on I mentioned I'm here in Sharjah for now. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe I'll move to a different Muslim country. But that's something that is important to consider and keep in your mind if you're planning to do the same. So I personally will be exploring other citizenship options. I know there are countries that allow you to either invest in the country and you can get citizenship that way, or you can just buy citizenship from certain countries. So that is something that I will be considering, inshallah, in the near future. So as far as I'm aware, I would gain nothing from giving up a passport today. I would only lose out. So why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. Other than what, to satisfy some online trolls that have nothing better to do than leave hate comments online? Come on. It's like asking someone to crash their car to prove to you that they're not materialistic. Like, what kind of idiot would do that? What kind of a fool would go and do that? You'd ruin your car, damage your car just to prove that you're not materialistic. Come on, that's just silly. Another issue that I want to discuss when it comes to the passport, and this is something even more worrying that I see people talking about online, is people will attribute your success, your achievements in life, your progress to your passport. I've seen comments like this. People say you're only in the position that you're in because of your passport. That's absolutely false. Look, even I don't deny that definitely it was a contributing factor. Definitely it helped. But guys, we're Muslims. We believe that Allah is Al-Razaq. Allah is the one who provides our rizq to us. And our rizq will reach us no matter what we had. Whether it's a British passport, no passport, we're stateless, we're a refugee. Allah would provide for you your rizq. Your rizq is already written for you before you were even born. I firmly believe that if I was born in a village in Pakistan somewhere, Allah would give me the same rizq that I've been given here because of this passport through some other means. And proof of that is, look, there are many people with British passports that are living paycheck to paycheck, just about struggling to get by. In fact, let's go one step further. There are people living in the UK right now that are homeless. They've got British passports. Why was their British passport not a means for them to become rich and have all this money? No, because that's just qadarullah. Likewise, I know people that are living here in the UAE, for example, that have Pakistani passports or other third world country passports, as you might describe them, that are richer than me and probably majority of you watching this combined. So it's extremely important that as Muslims, we attribute all things to Allah ultimately. We can say that this is a contributing factor. You can say that this definitely played a part. I don't deny that either. You'd be a fool to deny that completely. But I have the firm belief that Allah is the one who provided for me and will continue to provide for me, even if I was to lose this or if I was never born with this. I honestly, personally believe it's a very pathetic mindset to have. It shows a lack of self-accountability, a lack of ownership over your own actions. And also it kind of indicates like a bit of an inferiority complex that you believe that your value is tied to your passport, a booklet with your name and a few, a picture of you and a few stamps. Because ultimately, if you're attributing the good things that happen to another person to external factors, you will then also attribute bad things that happen to you to external factors. Or it's not my fault that I'm still in the position that I was in for the last 2 years. It's not because I haven't put in any work or effort to make it happen. Oh no, it's because of X, Y, and Z. And that's the wrong mindset to have as a Muslim. And the last thing I'll address is this notion that I can't criticize the UK because I still have the British passport. Guys, that makes zero sense whatsoever. In fact, having this passport probably makes me more qualified to criticize the UK and life in the UK for a Muslim, having lived it myself, being born there myself, going through that whole system. And you know what? Like, you can go to the Righteous and Rich channel and check out the podcast. I'll leave the link in the description. The full podcast I did with Imran, where we discuss my journey growing up, and maybe that'll give you an insight into why I'm so passionate about leaving the UK and for other Muslims to do the same. I'll give you a hint. There's attempted murder in the title of the podcast to give you an idea of what to expect. And look, the reality is a lot of these people that leave these kind of comments, they haven't made a single step towards hijrah themselves. It's like I saw a video recently and it was like a skit and there was like a friend had bought a car, right? Let's just say for argument's sake, it's a Mercedes AMG C43 AMG. Or you know what? Let me be balanced. Either a Mercedes C43 or a BMW M340i, right? Not the top spec, but up there, reputable. And you buy it and you come to your friend and your friend, oh, wow, nice car, man. Wow. But, it's not a C63 though. It's not an M3, bro. You could have gone one up and just there like, bro, like, first and foremost, you don't even have a car. Like, you walk, you take the bus. Like, with all due respect. And number two, like, why are you not happy for what I've been able to do? Like, it's like spitefulness. You call it hasid in Arabic. It's someone that's just like, it's just projection, it's bitterness within them that forces them to always look at the negative in things. I believe there's a statement, I think it was Ibn Taymiyyah said, either it's Ibn Taymiyyah or maybe Ibn Qayyim or maybe something completely separate. So don't attribute this to anyone. You know what? Let me just say it. Some people are like flies. They're only attracted to doo-doo. Don't be like that. And don't let people like that affect your life decisions. If you are planning to do hijrah, if you are planning to make the move, if you are planning to do anything in your life, start a business, whatever else it might be, don't let the haters, the spiteful naysayers who are very toxic, crabs in a bucket mindset affect your decisions. Because that attitude, that mindset of belittling the achievements of others while doing nothing yourself, it's the mindset of a loser, quite frankly. And who wants to be a loser, right? So to wrap this video up, guys, no, I'm not going to begin with my British passport. I'm going to be taking full advantage of it, inshallah, making absolute use of it to achieve my goal, my life mission, inshallah. If that upsets you, I'm not sorry. It is what it is. With that said, guys, inshallah, don't forget to tune into this. Well, it's supposed to be Saturday, but this week is going to be Sunday. This Sunday's episode of The Road to Hijrah, I'm going to be interviewing brother Sam Amin who many of you guys will already know because I've mentioned my channel multiple times. We've partnered up with him on a real estate development project here in the UAE. Inshallah, I'm actually going to be showing you guys the land that we're purchasing, where we'll be doing the real estate development. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you're interested in joining us, we're raising funds for this real estate development. Inshallah, 50% return, 2 years. It's a crazy investment. Click the link in the description. You can book a call with Sam, learn more information about the actual investment itself. And hopefully, inshallah, we can break bread together. With that said, I'll see you guys on Sunday. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Let me know in the comments what other videos you would like me to do, any other questions you'd like me to answer, etc. Assalamu alaikum.